Hello everyone, welcome. Thanks for joining me today. I was sitting at my desk earlier today thinking, I really like to do these Facebook Lives. I don't know why, I don't really like to be in front of a camera all that much, but for some reason this has become kind of fun. It's my Tuesday routine and it's really great to be here, and thanks for joining. Everybody should take a sewing vacation. Go someplace, get away from your house or your studio and go sew. And that's what happened to me last week. I went to Arkansas and I sat around a table and sewed for 3 days, and it was really wonderful. I didn't really check my email all that much. The phone didn't ring. And I think even if I had gone home from the office and said to myself, I'm going to sew for 3 days, I know that would not have happened. So if you have a place to go, some little retreat spot, vacation spot, a friend's house, whatever it is, I encourage you to do that. Because it's just amazing how many things you can make in such a brief amount of time when that's all you're thinking about. So I'm encouraging you to do that. I came home refreshed, inspired, ready to sew. I had taken a couple things already cut out, but other things I just cut out there, just started in. Completed a couple of things that have been sitting in a plastic bag for a while. And then mostly I worked on projects for either Facebook Live coming up or So Confident for the remainder of the year. So I feel very organized and I just feel great. So I encourage you to do that by yourself or with a buddy or several friends, whatever it takes. So it's still June. We're still talking about the Edgewater dress for So Confident. And we do have our kits, and we are making the kits here now rather than outsourcing them. So we can get those kits out to you pretty quickly. They're here, the fabric's here, and we're ready to go. This is one colorway. This is the teal colorway. We have a plum colorway, a citrus colorway, and a black and white colorway. And the video is out, so if you want to sign up for the monthly workshop, please do that. Or of course you can still sign up for the year of So Confident. I did make a skirt while I was on my little vacation, an Edgewater skirt. This Friday is July 1st, which is sort of unbelievable. And July 1st or the first of every month is always the introduction of the next month's So Confident project. So those of you who are members will get the information with your prep letter of what the coming project is, and I'm not even going to show it to you yet. I'll show it to you next Tuesday. But it is a blouse, I will tell you that. And very excited about it. I've made 3 now, maybe 4. And I did a little photo shoot this morning in the one that will be featured on Friday, and I commented to Erin, this is a great blouse. I just love it. So I hope you will like it too, but check it out on Friday. That's all coming to you. And usually we introduce, let's see if I can get this right. We usually introduce the project on the first of a month, and then on the following Friday, we send out more information, but all that is happening because the first is a Friday. So you're going to get lots of stuff in your email box, and so pay attention to that. Plus, it's a day when we're having an extra Q&A for this month. We had one a couple of weeks ago. It was before people really had their kits and maybe had a chance to make the dress. So we're having another Q&A on Friday. And I'm asking that you send Alex at sewingworkshop.com, your questions ahead of time. I'd like to be able to prepare a little bit more than just on the fly during those Q&A sessions. So send your questions in early, and we're going to talk a lot about the Edgewater dress or whatever you want to talk about. So that'll happen on Friday at noon Central Time. So I have on this Balboa topper. Is that what we call it, a topper? Yes. And it's not a pattern we talk about very much. I don't know why, because it actually is one of my favorite patterns. Of course, I say that about every one of our patterns every time I have it on, but this is a true again. So this topper is a big shirt. It only comes in 3 sizes in our pattern, small, medium, and large. And I think anybody can wear any size. It's very, very oversized. But I love this. It could be a lot of different things. It could be something that you wear dressy over a black dress or a black top and pants. It could be more of a something around the home, a robe type lounge piece, or it can be that summer fun shirt to wear with some, as I have on, my ET and my Hudson pants. And I think maybe this is about the 12th time I've worn these blush pink Hudson pants on Facebook Live. I know you're getting sick of them, but for some reason they go with everything and they just feel like summer. So, and I have on white shoes, which I didn't even know I owned. I just bought them recently and forgot to wear them, and I don't usually wear white shoes because ever since my daughter told me you could wear white all year long, I don't wear white at all. And you know, I grew up in the era of no white past Labor Day, and you can't wear white until Memorial Day and all that stuff. And anyway, I haven't had white shoes for a long time. So this particular Balboa comes in a long version and a short version. So I'll start with the long one because it has some interesting features. Rather than having a separate collar and a separate stand, this is a stand and collar all in one piece. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how to deal with that. It has a hidden button placket, so the buttons are underneath. I like the way the pocket straddles two seams. So it's a really easy pocket to install. You don't have to sew around the edges of it. It's all incorporated into the seams and the hem. And so of course all you have to do is hem the pocket. And I love big pockets anyway because you can stand around and, you know, look kind of chic. It has seams here and here. So actually this is a place where you could make it larger or smaller if you really don't want a super oversized garment, which it's meant to be. I think the circumference of this garment in the smallest size is like 60 inches, and that's how it's supposed to be. But if you don't like that, this is a seam that can be taken in, and then you'll have to deal with the size of the pocket. There's another seam over here, and then a sleeve that is gathered or bunched up. There's a short sleeve here, but by the use of this tab that buttons it. And the back is fairly plain. But because it's so oversized and so off the shoulder, you see that it hangs asymmetrically, shorter in the front and the back than at the sides. This is in linen. There's just nothing like linen for summer. And this particular linen has been washed, so it's very soft. All right, so here's the short version. Same details. The pocket is different. So this pocket is sewn into this seam here, and the opening of the pocket is up here, and you do have to sew the side and the bottom of that pocket. But the same buttonhole placket, same sleeve detail, same seaming. I think this can be worn as a short camp shirt-like shirt. It can be worn over a t-shirt, a longer tunic, or even a dress. I think it could become a little jacket for those times when you're in an air-conditioned restaurant or room and you need a little something. It could be a jacket, or it can just be a garment just by itself as well. The one I have on is a printed linen, and we received some printed linens in recently, actually. So I think this is just a fresh, wonderful motif. It has all kinds of colors, which I just love, from lime green to orange to pink to yellow. And I do wish that I had washed this fabric, but I'm always in a hurry. I can't stand to take the time to wash it, so this is probably something that could be softened a little bit by washing. And of course, when you're washing linen, you want to wash and dry it immediately or initially when you get it. And then as you're cleaning the garment, you might want to wash the garment but not dry the linen again. I think the drying process ultimately kind of wears that linen property down, and it gets a little bit too softened sometimes and breaks down. So I think the drying is something you need to not do all that often. And of course, you can dry clean if you want to. So let me talk to you about this collar situation a little bit. So there's always that issue of what part of the collar to interface, whether to interface at all. Of course, all of it depends on the particular fabric that you're using. But I tend to, on this particular collar, I tend to apply our ultra sheer, Japanese ultra sheer interfacing to both the upper collar and the under collar. And that fuses out to the very edges. I don't remove the seam allowances. I cut out the interfacing. I place the interfacing on the collar, hold the iron above it, and steam that, and watch it just shrink up just a little bit. So I do my shrinking as I'm applying it. But because this is shaped like this, and it is the stand and the collar all in one, I do apply a second layer of interfacing, that's shown here in the black, without the seam allowances, just in the stand area, so that when this is applied to the garment, it does act as a stand, and it has some support so that that stand will stand up. After that, I sew the two collar pieces together, and then I wrap that collar, folding it on the edge of that stand, and fold it around the hem, tailor's hem, as if it were on a body. And I give that a little bit of steam. I don't really touch the fold with my iron, but I steam it, hand press it, and then leave it as long as I can, preferably overnight, but I'm never that patient, so a little bit of time just to build that in. And what that does is that builds in that shape so that this collar will roll nicely. It also shifts the upper collar from the under collar right at the raw edges, so that it, of course, would depend on the fabric, but the upper collar is something in the range of 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch offset from the raw edge of the under collar. And that's good, so that when it's applied, then that roll is built in. So I use my tailoring board as my ham stand, and I just let that sit there. This little portion of the tailoring board is what I use as a stand, because ham stands are kind of hard to find these days. But this is so all-purpose with so many surfaces that really works. But I just put 2 pins in here just to hold it, let it sit, and then that's going to be formed for a good roll on your collar. I want to show you another garment that we have used some linen. So this is the 9 Lives shirt. Now the 9 Lives is the simplest shirt pattern that we have that has a collar. Simple collar, no stand, no set-in sleeve. You can see it's very boxy, rectangular. Interestingly enough, one shoulder seam is shorter than the other. I'm not even sure this one is shorter than this one. The left shoulder seam is shorter than the right shoulder seam. And then the hem is asymmetric, so it's longer on the side with the shorter shoulder and shorter on the longer. But one of the reasons why I did this shirt, white linen, and these are some white strips cut on the bias, 3 strips cut on the bias, and I had just gotten a new sewing machine with lots of fancy stitches. Stitches that I never use, ever. And I had seen a Japanese shirt, it was a man's shirt actually, that had red stitching on it, and I thought it was just really beautiful. Subtle, but very cool. So this is simply a sampler of some of those stitches that are on your sewing machine that you paid a lot of money for and you don't know how to use them. So the white on white makes it real subtle, or you can contrast it. Here's a different color of linen with contrasting stripes, and now the stitching is not as evident. The stitches are white on the green, with the green on the blue. But the 9 Lives looks great in a print as well. So this is a linen print, very abstract, almost painterly-like. Looks like you could have thrown some paint out on it and made this fabric. So if you're wanting that summer shirt, easy to wear with jeans or shorts or cropped pants, linen pants, whatever. This is a great shirt. So two completely different kinds of garments here, from a shirt to an oversized topper, both in linen. So let's look at some linens. The linen that I have on is right here. And I have on my pale pink pants, but this is a wonderful pink that I think would make a great pair of pants, or of course the 9 Lives, or of course it would make the Balboa as well, short or long. It already has a little bit of a rumple texture to it, so you're never going to get this real pristine. You just want to go with this. This is a slightly rumpled linen. It's going to stay that way. Don't worry about it. This is another printed linen that I love. I noticed that when I was checking the colors on the camera that everything's a little intense on the camera, when things are a little more pastel than probably they're showing up for you. For instance, this looks like it's a deep purple, but it's really more of a good lilac color with these fantastic fruits on them. Fruits and leaves. And I love the lime green and the aqua colors with it. So you can put aqua with it. Now this is a cross-dyed linen, and we've talked about cross-dyed before, where one thread, the warp thread or the lengthwise thread, is one color, and the crosswise thread and the woof is another color. This one is aqua blue on the crosswise and white on the lengthwise. So it has there's a little variation in the color, and it gives it a little more character than just a solid color. A nice weight. None of these are very heavy. While you can wear them for bottoms, skirts, or pants, or dresses, they're definitely made for tops as well. Now this is Deb's favorite right here. These roses are really amazing. A beautiful rendition of a painted rose with some blue-gray leaves on a white background. And that's really quite unique. All of these linens that we got are from Italy, and they are fine quality and really unique designs. This is a handkerchief weight linen, and I probably would not use this for pants. It's a little bit on the sheer side, but all the more reason to use this very blush pink for a great shirt, Balboa or 9 Lives or whatever. So this is sort of the floral pastel side, and here we have fabrics that are a little more intense that reminded me of the 9 Lives that we had made. So the bottom one is linen. Obviously, they're all linen. And this is a floral, but a more abstract floral with, it's like they did a wet-on-wet watercolor technique and allowed the colors to merge and flow and kind of do their thing. So this is a really unusual print. And then you get into a more intense, again, cross-dye. Interestingly enough, this is yellow and fuchsia pink, which makes orange. So here's the yellow, that is the cross thread, and the lengthwise thread is bright pink. But it comes off as tangerine color, and you see the model of the yellow and the pink. This is another very abstract linen with kind of the hot tangerine oranges and beautiful blues. This is another cross dye that has, let's see what this has. This is either black or dark gray on the cross, and then pale yellow on the lengthwise fiber. So there's a lot of character and texture in that linen. I think you can see that even more than some of the other ones. And this one is incredible. It's an all-over print, beautiful reds and oranges and greens and blues, and really an amazing piece of fabric. But there's a lot of crossover here of things that go with a lot of other things. I mean, I think this tangerine color goes with the one I have on, so does this green, so does this blue. You know, you can do a lot of back and forth here on the solids. The pink goes with this pink goes with this, that pink goes with that. I mean, there's just a lot of playing around with this. So, what do we have for questions? Anything?
great.
I caught Aaron off guard.
What size are you wearing in all the garments?
I'm wearing a small in the Balboa. The ET is in interesting sizes. It's not in normal sizes. It's like a 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, and I'm wearing a 1.5. And then my pants are, I cut my pants as an extra small, and then I use the small as the height or the depth of the stride.
Is there an additional side panel that can be done in a mesh or a knit?
Absolutely. On the Balboa, I'm assuming we're talking about?
That's what I assume.
Yeah, sure. I think that it would be nice to think about this panel in one type of fabric. This could be another type of fabric. You have another panel over here. So you have 3 panels across the front that could be worked in combinations of knits and wovens, meshes, whatever. That'd be pretty.
Is the rose print suitable for a dress, or would it need to be lined?
I wouldn't line this. There is a certain, I think you'd have to be careful with what you wear under it, but while it may have a little bit of transparency, I would still try not to line this. Now, I think it also depends on the style of the dress. If you're making a summer flowy, not oversized, but something that maybe has tiers or ruffles, or something that's just a little bit looser, I would definitely not underline it. If I were making a sheath, I would probably consider lining it actually in something like batiste or another handkerchief lightweight linen.
Did you match the print on your Balboa?
No, just didn't bother. Actually, Samantha made this, and we talked about it. There was an attempt to match a little bit of the pocket, but it was very difficult. So we both decided that it just did not need to be matched.
The darker pink is described as a handkerchief weight on the website. How sheer is it for pants?
It's not that sheer. This is perfect for pants. This is, I don't consider this handkerchief weight. Not like this. This is handkerchief weight, and this really isn't very handkerchief weight. It's heavier than that.
What are the colors in the print at the bottom, the one under the orange?
Okay, so the floral portions are red, orange, orange, several shades of yellow, several shades of aqua and blue, but the blue is a blue-green. So it's not like it's navy or black. This is a blue-green through here. And the background I would consider, it's on a white background, but this pale aqua kind of takes over the color of that. But yeah, oranges and blue-greens.
Does the collar have 2 layers of interfacing or 3?
2 layers of interfacing. So you interface the entire collar with your first layer of interfacing. The second layer is the stand only. And then you have an upper collar that is also interfaced once.
Would you mind trying on the shorter version of the Balboa?
Okay. I can do that. Now this is a size medium, so this is one size bigger than the one I had on. I have one of these in just a white handkerchief linen that's just like perfect.
That looks good.
Is it?
Can definitely wear a variety of sizes.
Yeah, I can. It's like I may have told this story, but you know, you can wear any size you like. Same with shoes. When I was in high school, I sold shoes at a local shoe store, and people would just love the shoe, and it didn't matter if it fit or not. So those days are gone. I can tell you that for me.
Which pattern is easier to sew, the 9 Lives or the Eureka?
Ooh. Well, I almost have to say the 9 lives. You would generally make the 9 lives in a woven. And the collar is easy to put on. It's a simple collar. No extra placket, just turned back facings, buttonholes and buttons, and then the seams die into the opening of the, get this out again. So you sew up the side seam, and then the remaining seam allowance gets turned as the finish for the arm's eye. There's nothing hard about the Eureka, but generally we make that in a knit. And if you're not as comfortable with making knit ready-to-wear bindings, to me making a ready-to-wear binding look good is harder than making this collar look good. That's kind of a, so pick your poison. Do you want to do buttons and buttonholes and a collar, or ready-to-wear binding and work with knit? It's kind of that kind of choice.
What are the 2 colors of threads in the aqua linen?
White and a darker aqua than what this reads, because the white makes it paler, but it is an aqua and white combo. Yeah.
So with the other prints, would you match the different print linens on blouses? And I don't know if they're referring to matching
the prints.
Matching the prints on the garment, or matching them together on a garment.
Yeah, if you're talking about motifs, I would not match this. I would not try to match this. I might consider this in terms of, oh, you know what, I don't even think I'd bother with this. But there is a row of concentration of floral motifs, and you could think about carrying that around at the same level, but I wouldn't try to match it.
Is the green linen fairly sheer, and could you make pants or use it to make pants?
This one, you think? This one?
Green. So I think the
green.
I don't know if the kind of yellowish one.
Well, either one of them.
Green?
I'm not sure which one you're talking about, but both of these are pant weight. Now, if you're going to use this one, which is a little bit lighter weight, then I would consider something flowier, like the Hudson pants or the West End pants. I wouldn't make skinny pants in this. You could make slimmer pants in this. It's slightly heavier.
Is the background on the print of your shirt white or off-white?
It is ever so slightly off-white.
It does look a little creamier than the rose print.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Yeah. This is white. This is slightly off-white.
Is the black and yellow fabric suitable for pants? Black and
yellow. Well, this is blue and yellow. And yes, you could make pants out of that. You could make pants out of this. You can make pants. I think you can make pants out of every one of these fabrics with the exception of this one. And I'm not even so sure you couldn't do this, but this is the sheerest one of them all. So I think any of the other ones can make pants.
Sounds like everyone's going to make some printed pants.
Yeah, it sounds like we're going to have an explosion of printed pants.
I love it.
Yeah.
Can you make the sleeves longer on the E shirt? Maybe the ET?
Yes, on the ET you can make the sleeves longer. We have a tutorial on that. I can't tell you exactly the month or year or date or whatever, but we show you how to do that in a tutorial, and maybe Betsy can find that.
Okay, somebody did ask for how many yards are in the short Balboa. I wonder if Betsy can just have a link to the Balboa pattern.
All of these, as you can see, are wide. They're 60, 54, 58, 54, 58. They're all wider, which is pretty typical of linens. You don't find linens at 45 very often, only from Japan.
Okay, that's all the questions I see.
All right. All right. So we have on sale the Balboa pattern, which is printed pattern, the 9 Lives, which is a digital pattern, and all of the linens. Now, I meant to count, but we have another group of linens, printed linens, on sale that are not on the wall. So all of these are discounted at 15%, and then we have another 10 or 12 linens that will be posted on our website that are 40% off. They're smaller cuts. We're going to run out of them pretty quickly, so don't be disappointed, but that will be posted. When you go to the website, you go to Linda's video, right?
Linda's videos, and then
all of them will be posted.
right. I'm not sure what she titled it this week, but something about linen.
Yeah, exactly. So all of those, so 15%, 40%, small quantities, larger quantities, whatever. And then we have a tutorial of how to sew linen. Now, frankly, I don't think linen is very hard to sew, although Susan Calgi wrote a book on sewing with linen that was pretty thick. So apparently there are some tricks to sewing linen. But at any rate, the tutorial that we have is sewing on linen, kind of the properties of linen, how to care for it, how to press it, how to sew it, and so forth. But it gives you the how-to make this 9 Lives, start to finish, with this embellishment. And that is called Sewing with Linen. And it just happens to be that this is the garment that's featured in that Sewing with Linen tutorial. So that's on sale as well. All right.
How else would you style the Balboa if people were looking for different patterns to wear with it?
Well, I think if you're wearing the short one, I do wear a second layer under it many times. I might wear a tank under it, mix-it tank. I have on the ET, of course. I feel like I could wear this short top with fuller pants like the West Ends. I think this would go great with the Edgewater skirt, just like it is without another layer, the new skirt. We have a skirt called the Sixth Sense skirt. I think it'd be pretty with that. But helix pants, pencil pants with a tank, and this is a great look where you have a fuller silhouette at the top and then skinnier at the bottom. I think Erin would wear this over the Edgewater dress, perhaps.
Oh, that'd be pretty.
Yeah, so you could make a dress that has a bit of fit up here and then put this on top of that. Erin's a great one for wearing short jackets over dresses.
There's one more question. It says, could you clarify how to find the other sale linens? And I think Betsy can just post a link to the category, and
Right.
that's where you can find all the sale linens.
Yeah.
So, okay.
All right. Well, Alex is with me next week, so we'll see you. Have a wonderful 4th of July holiday. Hopefully you get some sewing done. Maybe you have to go someplace to do it, but set aside some time to sew, and we'll see you back here on Tuesday.